Hello, OneTAKE listeners. Ian Barkin here again. Thank you so much for joining me. This is my fourth daily OneTAKE now in a row. First and foremost, I want to wish you all health and safety. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, your families, and your communities in this trying time. We have, at Sykes, we've got some resources available. If you find yourselves working at home or trying to figure out how to, we'll share links to that. And share some more information. We're also hiring. So if anyone's looking for opportunities and roles, we have work at home jobs. So give us a shout. We'll make some of those links available too. So without further ado, in this new future of work, we're all contending with the fact that we're going to be home for a little while for our own safety. And we're all struggling to figure out how to use these digital technologies and engage virtually with teams. But we also can't forget one of our most important jobs, which is being a parent. And many of us are parents and find ourselves both working from home and parenting from home and teaching from home. So I could not be more thrilled to have my guest today joining me. My guest is James Shaw. He is the founder and the presenter of a podcast called Positively Dad. James, welcome to OneTAKE.
Ian, thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Well, and before we go too far, so I'm assuming you're presenting from home. You're joining me from home, and
this is my office. You're in it right now.
There we go. And I'm joining you from home. So as a result, and very much the topic we'll be discussing, we're not alone, are we?
No, there's people all over the place.
And all over the place. They seem to follow us. These sort of little colleagues of ours seem to be everywhere. Let's see. Do I have any little colleagues here in the office? Oh, there are my little colleagues. There's one. I think I've got another one.
Oh, and there she is.
And you've got one somewhere.
I've got one too. Here she comes right here.
There she is.
You can come up here. Come on up. Here she comes. She'll be here in just a second, I promise. Here we go.
So
there we go.
So James, who is your little colleague? Let's have her introduce herself.
You want to introduce yourself to everybody? Go ahead.
I'm Naomi and I'm 8 years old.
Hello, Naomi, who's 8 years old. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. And let's see, who are you?
Hi, I'm Sophie and I'm 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. And you?
I'm Emma and I'm 8 years old.
Very nice. So Emma, Sophie, Naomi, how are you liking taking school from home?
I hate it.
You don't like it? Naomi, what do you think about it?
I love it.
She's liked it, yeah. It's been fun and challenging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Sophie, what do you think?
Mixed feelings. I like it and I don't like it. Online learning is difficult, but I'm getting used to it.
Gotcha.
It's getting better.
And I'm pretty sure that you guys are also communicating with all of your friends over things like Facebook Messenger for Kids, aren't you? So,
I mean, these three girls have been chatting a little bit on that, right? That they've had a lot of fun.
That's right. So you guys are staying in touch, and you don't see each other face to face in school and at recess anymore, but you're still talking over Messenger. Is that right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, little colleagues. Naomi, your dad and I are going to start talking. We're going to continue discussing this whole parenting and working from home and schooling from home thing. And same to you guys. Can you go and help your mother by not going crazy and doing chores and taking classes?
Sure.
Cool.
All right. Off to e-school. Have fun. Don't forget your backpack.
I will.
Naomi.
Bye, kiddo. Thanks for being here. She's been a trooper through this, which I imagine your girls have as well.
They've been pretty good. I mean, it's funny if they do start to fight with themselves. I have the line I keep bringing out, which is like, this may last for a while. So we really have to recognize we're all in this together. We are one team, and come on, let's pull it together. So so how have things been for you?
You know what? They've been, I've always said that every opportunity like this, there's some sort of gift there. And I know it's weird to say that right now, that everything's kind of been thrown up in the air. And yet I believe there is still a gift. And I think the gift is that the three of us are spending time together. And, for me, I travel, right? This is what I'm gone every single week. And And I don't think I'm going anywhere till August at the earliest. So there's a gift here too.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And even in the small things, like my daughters take piano lessons, and they've started to take those piano lessons virtually. I get to play with all of my gadgets. So I set up an iPad on a tripod, and I have it overlooking the piano and their fingers. But then I sit there and I watch them actually take the lesson. I'd normally be in the office at that point. I wouldn't be seeing that. And so I'm much more in tune with everything they're learning, all the activities they're doing. So I totally agree. It's bringing us closer. So that is a silver lining to this.
It is. I mean, to your example, Naomi has, in fact, she'll have 2 dance classes today, and we'll do them right here in my office. Same thing, right? I'm setting up all the gadgets for her. Yep. And she'll do it virtually through online, and I get to watch the whole dance class and sit in here with her and see her learn. And normally I have to sit outside and watch through the class. So You're right. We get to do a little bit more with the kids than we used to.
Absolutely. So James, I sort of jumped ahead. We showed off our offspring, but let's get back to the sort of the foundational first question always in one of these. And you by far are more of an expert than me at this. Which is, who are you? And then ultimately, I'd love to hear sort of your backstory and what was your motivation for starting Positively Dad?
Well, thank you for asking about it. So my name's James, and Naomi is our only. She's 8. I think, Ian, the thing for me was when I knew I was going to be a dad, I don't know, I felt this desire to be the most amazing one, which is not new. I mean, every dad wants to be the most amazing dad that there possibly is. And the thing, though, for me was I went around and I looked for resources to help me as a dad grow. And when you look in the parenting world, it's like 90% of the parenting space is designed for mom. And so I thought I wanted to fill that space a little bit. The challenge was I sat on it until about a year ago, and I'd read a book, and that book really inspired me to finally finish this project, I guess, finish it from being an idea to making it happen. And so we started it off. And the way I look at it is the conversations that we have on the podcast and all the stuff I do, it's really a conversation for me that everybody else just gets to listen into. So it's just a strong desire to be a really, really, really awesome parent, a really, really awesome partner, and a really awesome person.
That's great. That's tremendous. And you've done such a good job of it. I'm really impressed. You're tireless as far as your output. Before, so this is sort of like a sort of before Corona, so BC, and then after, I guess AC. Before the last few weeks, what would you say was one of your favorite episodes, favorite guests that you had on Positively Dad?
We've been fortunate to have so many because we're doing 2 episodes a week. So on Mondays, I talk to, like an expert about something that's going to help us grow. And then on Thursdays, I talk to a dad about being a dad. And I'd come across a woman named Lauren Duca. She's a journalist and author, and she had written in a book the story of her relationship between her and her dad after the election. Now, we don't need to go into all of that. It was a challenging time for her, and she had written about it. And so I reached out to her and asked her if she would be on, and she was on, and we had a great conversation just about how, when we're sitting on different sides of the spectrum, how we're still family first and how we can kind of figure that out and move forward. And it was a powerful episode. And then I said, do you think your dad would come on and do one of the episodes I do with a dad to talk about what he's learned in this as well?
Sure.
And I'm telling you, both of those were powerful conversations about how, as family, we don't always have to agree, and yet we're still family, and how to work through some of that. Because I think there's a lot of families that don't always necessarily connect real well. And so I was really proud of that particular series.
That's tremendous. Well, that's great. And to hear both of those sides, and as you said, sort of stick true to the dynamics of the show, and then hear from a father, hear from a child, and hear from the father who brought up that child to be confident enough to have a different opinion, I assume was part of the crux of that story.
Oh, it absolutely was. And the reason I say they're my favorite, they're the 2 most listened to episodes. So clearly those resonated with people and impacted them.
Very nice. And we will share all of the links that we can to help people find Positively Dad and to subscribe. I absolutely suggest anyone listening to this should subscribe. Anyone who's interested in James, as you said, not only being a better parent, but being a better partner, a better person, it's a great resource. So, okay, so let's come to sort of the COVID era. You were pretty early on. You had some shows back on the 14th, I think, of March, so over 2 weeks ago. You started to have guests on to talk about what this means. Some of it was about what does it mean now that you're home. I think the title of the episode is what is it?
The kids are home, now what?
The kids are home, now what? There we go. Sorry, I lost my note on that, which was
right.
Awesome. It was Dave Schmidu you spoke to.
Yeah.
And then since you've done several other shows, but I almost kind of want to go show by show for a moment because I've listened to them all, and there were tremendous takeaways in each and every one of them. And so I guess I'm going to test you on your own show and see if you remember what they were. But Dave was a teacher, and he was also a curriculum designer himself.
Right.
And had a lot of really thoughtful things to say about how we should be approaching this hopefully somewhat short period of time, but it may be longer.
Yeah. Well, and he's a dad of 4, so he can have that perspective as well. And and really the 3 episodes, now 4, I guess, the 3 though where I've talked to experts about things have all basically said the same thing. And this is the key for us in this house. And it's just relax. And know that it is different. We're all going through it. It's going to be challenging. And it doesn't have to be what you see posted on Facebook every day about the parent who had the absolutely most perfect day and their child is now 1 week later fluent in Russian and can also understand hieroglyphics. I mean, we don't have to be that. And we can just relax. And in fact, I had one who said to me that if one day your stay-at-home school is frozen in the morning, lunch, and then frozen too in the afternoon, that's okay. Like there are days that's where it's going to be. And so I think the takeaway for me has been, let's have a little bit of grace and move through it the best we can.
That sounds like a pretty spectacular day of school, actually.
I know, I want that, right?
You could, I mean, I think there's a lot of like classics and history and mythology you could teach in that. I may just try that out. But no, you're right. It's funny because I'll admit I had these aspirations at first of putting together really robust curricula, and by the end of this quarantine, my children would have masters in like anthropology and classics and history. But yeah, that's absurd. And as you said, take it easy, breathe, and just realize that you've got to sort of set your own expectations to sort of survive and just come together modes, which was good to hear. It was good to hear your guest Dave say that, just because I think a lot of parents need to take that on board.
They do. And remember, Dave's running a school system, right? He's in charge of the curriculum for a whole school system. And he was saying that we're not the school. Like our job is not to replace the school.
Right.
And to think about what are the things that go on every day. I mean, just what we did in our pre-show meeting, what the girls learned in that, how to organize this conversation, what steps we're going to take, how to handle challenges when they come up.
Yep.
That's learning in itself right there. And that's worth the 15 or 20 minutes they spent with us on that. That's school.
Absolutely. We've got it's coming up later on this week, I think. Each of the kids is taking turns recording the morning message to the class. And so this is going to be dangerous because I'm already thinking this sort of Hollywood level production. We've got all sorts of different shots and things. I think I'll be talked down to a more reasonable level of pre-class message. But you're right. They'll learn as we do it, and we'll set up shots and make sure sound is good, and we'll work on projecting. Your daughter does a tremendous job of that. For anyone who is a listener and watcher of your show, they see a very confident 8-year-old who's extremely articulate and very comfortable projecting and presenting herself. So obviously you've taught her a lot on your journey with Positively Dad.
To go back just even in the year and listen to her thoughts grow and kind of see what she's thinking. And then now all she wants to do is Facebook Lives all the time. So we're doing cooking shows on my Facebook, and now she's reading bedtime stories to kids. So if you ever need a bedtime story read about 8:30 on my Facebook, you can jump on, or my Instagram, and she'll read you a story. It's been fun to watch her grow and learn that. And ultimately, that's the thing that's going to help her down the line. It's going to help her earn an opportunity or create some opportunity for herself.
I could not agree more. I think in my childhood, the time I spent in musical theater and theater in grade school has taught me a lot of skills that I use to this day. Just getting on stage, getting on video chats with people, and you're bestowing that same knowledge and experience, but in a digital, modern way for your daughter, which is tremendous. Yep. So let's move forward. So we talked about your first sort of COVID era show was with Dave Schmidu. Then you did a show with a doctor, Rebecca Schrag-Hirschberg, on parenting during COVID-19. And sort of by virtue of speaking to experts, you yourself were becoming an expert. What was that discussion like? What did she share?
Yeah, she shared that the first thing is we've got to be honest with our kids about what's going on and include them in the conversation, because they're going to hear it anyway. They recognize life is different. When she and I recorded that particular conversation, I don't remember if Florida had decided they were going to postpone school or not. That was very, very fluid at the time. So the thing we kind of talked about was, look, if they're at school, they're going to hear about it. We just need to be open. And what she said was, when you don't talk to your kids about things that are going on, then what you imply to them is they can't handle it. And that long term, that's probably not good for them. Now, I don't review the latest COVID-19 numbers of cases and all that stuff. We don't have a meeting about that all the time. What we do talk about, though, is why, for example, that she has to hang out with your girls on Zoom or through Messenger Kids, and that we aren't, seeing each other at a baseball game. So she's got to understand that. Why her best friend who lives across the street, they wave to each other if Naomi's in the driveway. They're not going into each other's house and playing. And so we have to explain why that is the way it is. And our thoughts on it has evolved. This is the key thing. I had one thought about this whole situation, and in the conversations I've had with people, I've completely changed my perspective over how we as a family view it and what our goals are during this time and how we're going to live, just because I opened my ears to what other people were thinking.
Right. Well, so give me an example. So how has your perspective changed?
Okay, so at first it was, I'm not worried, we're young, we're not going to get sick, we're not worried about it, we're going to be smart, and yet we're going to live our life. Because I've always been that nothing's going to stop me, we're going to live our life person. Yeah. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize that I'm not changing my life for me. I'm changing my life for my mother.
Right.
I'm changing my life for my friends who do have some sort of underlying health issues, so that I don't get something that I pass on to them. And that's been the conversation in our house, that we are staying at home and doing things together as a family. And it's really just the three of us right now. And we're doing that because our goal is to help people. Not because we're stuck at home. In fact, I posted a thing on our Instagram yesterday. We aren't stuck at home, we're safe at home. And we're doing that to be kind to other people. And so just developing the perspective. The other perspective shift that I've had is how homeschool is going to be. And just like you, I had a whole idea as to what it was going to look like. And we attempted it one day. And then Terry and I said, well, that ain't going to work. And I'd had an episode, I'd had a conversation that's the next one that you'll probably talk about, where I realized, look, that's not going to work. And so we restructured it, and it was much better. Now today, it's a little bit different, because now we're following the county's plan. Pinellas County's given us a plan. We're following that. We'll see how it goes. I don't know that we're going to do it their way either. So we'll check and see and make the decision that's best for us.
Well, that's a great segue. So that next show was Welcome to Homeschool. And we, like so many parents across the nation and across the world, have now gotten a taste of it. I imagine every school in every district is whatever level they're able to support. And we're really quite blessed that we've got the technology that we do, we've got the connectivity that we do, and that our teachers are savvy enough to adapt. I mean, this is a huge adaptation that they need to make in little or no time. to figure out how to engage a distributed class now. But so talk a little bit about that last episode.
So I talked with Jessica Gentry, who was a pre-K through third grade certified teacher, taught for 12 years, just so that I could get clarity about what I should expect. And what I learned was they need less education than we think. They only need an hour and a half or so of structured time, and then the rest we had some flexibility. And I want to say, by the way, what our educators are going through right now, the superintendents of schools, the principals, my best assistant principal of an elementary school, the teachers, what they're going through, I can't imagine. They're making this, they're not making it up on the fly. They're reinventing the year on the fly, and everyone's got an idea as to how it's supposed to look. So I want to commend them and thank what they're doing. And then I also want the parents to have a little bit of relief that know that your kid, and this is what I was worried about, is Naomi going to be behind when it's time to move up to third grade? Will she be ready? And the answer is no, she's not going to be behind. And yes, she's going to be ready. And have some faith in that whatever your family does is going to work, and you're moving in the right direction. And that we don't have to stress that what if she didn't read this book? It's okay. I had somebody message me and go, we're going to hand pick some of the exercises we're going to do. Like, we're not going to do the paint your rock every day. Like, that just isn't going to happen. We're not doing that. You know what we will do, though? We'll get our reading in, and we're going to do our math sheet. If that's all we do this one day, it's okay. Yeah. We'll pick back up tomorrow. And I know I keep saying it. I think that's the message I want to get to the parents. Yeah. We're balancing our house. We're balancing our job. We're balancing now school. We've got people concerned about what's happening to their employment or their income. Just do the best you can and yes.
Right. No, I completely agree. It makes you, first of all, appreciate the little things in everything. It makes you appreciate every element of your life that you almost took for granted was in our life as usual, beyond simply business as usual. As you said, the efforts that our teachers and educators and administrators had put in before this were spectacular. And now this just shines a light on it, because you realize what it is that they were doing, and then now what it is that they've had to adapt to, because we really are. And, and you and I are both in Florida, and we've watched the school system try to figure out how to embrace these tools, set them up, engage students. And this is going on across the globe, and really kudos to them. I also think we'll come out of this, and I'd love your perspectives, and if you've had any discussions with this on this with your guests. How do we come out as a citizenry, as a people, as parents? What do you think are the habits that we're learning now that will stick with us, possibly for a generation, possibly longer, as far as how we work?
Yeah, I love the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I love the question. I've got like 4 more people coming on. I mean, we're basically like wall-to-wall COVID right now, because that's what our families are experiencing. And so I put else on the back burner. And I have some episodes coming up. Here's what I've figured, and what I've learned so far is we've discovered some ways that we can be more efficient, and we're more open to doing things now than we were. And I honestly think in some industries that we've made a 5-year jump in about a week, that we've moved forward 5 years in what we now see as possible. And we've been forced to do that in a week. So that's number one. The two thing I've learned is how resilient our kids are. That Naomi doesn't care where she's going to school. She's going to learn, she's going to have fun. And the ones who have the stress and the ones who are freaking out are us, the parents, right? And so I found that our kids are resilient, and she's figuring out. Here's the other thing I've learned. Naomi made every meal in our house yesterday. She said she was making breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and she did that. The omelet for breakfast, I mean, I'm telling you, the stuff that's happening, the creativity that live inside of them and the resilience they have is getting exposed right now. And maybe we've been, at times, selling our kids short on what's possible.
I couldn't agree more. We've gone back to old school. We've instituted home economics, and we're teaching some basic skills, which is great. So chores are actually getting done. But also, as you say, cooking and cleaning, even just setting up their own schedules. They really have taken to it, and like you said, our little colleagues are capable of quite a bit, and to give them the credit
They are.
and to see it first.
They are. I mean, the one thing we did as an example, it was we laid out and we said, here's the things I'd like for you to accomplish in the morning. Here's the things I'd like for you to accomplish in the afternoon. From school work to household chores, all the stuff is on the list. Yeah. And you decide when it gets done. Just by lunch, these things have been completed. This math homework assignment's done. This chore's done, whatever. And then between lunch and 3 p.m., this is what's get done. And she's getting it done every day. And then it's opened up new opportunities. I said, would you like to start to learn another language? Is that something you'd be interested in? And she said, I'd love that. I go, well, what language would you like to learn? I'd like to learn French. So she's had 6 15-minute French lessons. And Ian, I'm telling you, she can already spell better in French than she can in English. And she's getting excited about it. It's really, really cool to watch. And we would have never looked at that as an opportunity if it were business as usual.
Right. Is there a set of tools, online classes, resources that your guests have shared with you that you're experimenting with and trying, or are you coming across these yourself?
Yeah, so Dave gave me a list, and it's like 300 resources that parents can use, and I do have it on our Facebook page. So if you go to the facebook.com/positivelydad, and there's a link there that's simply a live doc that you can jump in and pull all these things. And that's how we found some of the math stuff we've done. We've done, like, in the morning, we usually do an outside activity of some kind, and that's where we found that. We found the free resource for learning languages on there. So it's been a tremendous piece. So anybody is welcome to go check it out.
Outstanding. Well, that's great. Yeah, I think we just put up an image of it, and we'll put links in the post on LinkedIn for this post to share with other people so they can find Positively Dad on Facebook. James, I have to say, this has been an extraordinary discussion. You really have, you've done a great job of just establishing the tone and the engagement that you have. Obviously, you're very good at presenting. It was your passion and you followed it. So congratulations on that. But then to step in at a time of need when parents are looking for help and are very open to advice from experts. You've been there for us, so I have to thank you for that as well. Before we wrap up, any last thoughts or ideas to share with us parents as we handle this at-home everything era?
Well, yeah, first, thank you. Without the people I'm talking to, we wouldn't get better. So the gratitude goes to the people who are willing to come on our show. And anybody who's watching, I love talking just to dads being dads. Ian, we need to flip the script and have you be on Positively Dad now, because I love talking to dads about being dads, because I think we learn really well from each other. So any dad that's interested, let me know. The bottom line thing I'd tell you is it's going to be okay. This is a season. And whether it's, we know now it's not going to be Easter. If it's the end of April, if it's June, whenever it is, it will end. And I actually believe that we'll look back on this time down the line and we'll have enjoyed it. That we will look back and go, how great it was. Your girls are there with you. Mine's here with me. My wife's on the other side of this door. When we're done, I'm going to go see them. And I'm going to sit down next to my 8-year-old and I'm going to help her with whatever school project is next on the computer. When do we get to do that? And I also still get to work and help other people. So I think at the end, as long as your family stays healthy and everybody's moving forward, I actually think we'll have some gratitude for this time.
That's outstanding. No, I think the optimism, seeing the bright side of a trying event for everybody is so important. And I think it'll be what gets us through. And like you said, I think we'll come out, if we can keep our health and take care of each other, we'll come out having really learned a lot about each other and benefited from the chance to spend more time with each other. So with that, I have to thank you again, James. We'll put all of the links for Positively Dad in this feed. For everyone listening, thank you so much for your time. I hope you are staying healthy, staying safe. I hope your loved ones and your family and your community are as well. Thanks again for tuning into OneTAKE, and we will come back at you again probably tomorrow with another guest. So thanks so much for listening, everybody. Take care.